So I'm scrolling through Instagram and come across a post from the lead SM reacting to Jace Richardson finding out he was going to be a part of the NBA Slam Dunk Contest, and his reaction was basically, I guess. The caption said the downfall of the dunk contest needs to be studied, and honestly, that stuck with me because who better to break down that downfall than us? It just so happens I've got 3 real reasons why the NBA dunk contest doesn't feel the same anymore, and how each one may have permanently changed this all-star event for good. So what happened? Let's talk about it. Salute to the lead SM, it's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man.
In Dallas Stadium. That's right. Primarily, I put my name in the dunk contest.
All right, man.
He sneezed on the sleeve?
Yeah, he sneezed. He did not do the deep round.
The dunk contest used to mean something special, something you actually looked forward to during that break in the season. Other than the All-Star game itself, everybody wanted to see the league's high flyers put on a one-of-a-kind show because the dunk contest felt like the one night where athleticism, swagger, and creativity all mattered at the same time. It started back in 1984 when Larry Nance won the first official NBA Slam Dunk Contest, and from there it quickly grew into a real staple of All-Star Weekend. The league had just absorbed a lot of what the ABA flair was in the years prior, and the dunk contest became the perfect stage for that kind of showmanship to live on. As the years went on, it wasn't just about who could jump the highest, it was about who could create a moment. Smaller guys like Spud Webb winning it in 1986 made it feel even more magical because it proved the contest wasn't only for giants, it was for anyone with bounce and imagination. Then Michael Jordan came in and helped elevate it to something bigger than entertainment. He turned it into legacy fuel, winning in 1987 and 1988 and making the contest feel like a part of what a superstar did. And when Vince Carter took over in 2000, it hit a cultural peak that still gets replayed today like it happened yesterday. For a while, it felt like nothing could top that, until Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon raised the bar again in 2016, reminding everyone what the dunk contest looks like when elite athletes actually treat it like it matters. But ever since then, there's been a drastic drop-off to the point the dunk contest doesn't just feel different, it feels like it might be dead for good. Stunt number 1, the internet made failing expensive. For a long time, the dunk contest wasn't something stars avoided, it was something they chased. The biggest names wanted that moment because a great performance could elevate your status overnight and become part of your legacy. It was also a chance to stand alone and have the spotlight all for yourself. But once the internet and social media became popular, then fully took over, the risk started to outweigh the reward. A missed dunk used to be just a missed dunk. You heard about it, but now it's a meme, a freeze frame, a clip that follows you forever and lives in comment sections as content fodder long after All-Star Weekend ends. And once LeBron James, arguably the most athletic superstar of all time, chose not to step into that spotlight in 2010, it quietly shifted the culture around the event.
Right now, I'm preliminary putting my name in the 2010 dunk contest.
Players realized they didn't need the dunk contest to build their brand anymore, and instead of risking embarrassment, many of them just started watching from the sidelines, reacting instead of competing. You had high flyers like Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, and later Ja Morant and Zion Williamson, all capable of creating unforgettable moments, yet none of them fully embraced the stage the way stars once did. The dunk contest didn't suddenly lose athleticism, it lost participation from the very players who could keep it feeling elite. And once superstars decided the internet backlash wasn't worth it, the event slowly began to feel less like a proving ground and more like an optional side activity that just wasn't too important. And fans weren't just watching dunks anymore, they were watching to judge, to critique, and sometimes to clown whoever fell short. Moments like Jaylen Brown's attempt at recreating a classic dunk became instant meme material, only reinforced that fear. The reaction online could feel personal, even when it's meant as entertainment. That pressure doesn't make players more creative, it makes them more cautious, and when the biggest names stop viewing the dunk contest as a badge of honor, the foundation that once made it special started to crack, setting the stage for everything that followed. Stunt number 2, the bar was raised too high. If social media made players hesitant to fail, then Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon gave them another reason to think twice. What those two did in 2016 didn't just revive the dunk contest, it reset expectations entirely. Every dunk felt bigger than the last, every round felt like a heavyweight fight, and for the first time in years, it felt like elite athletes were truly battling for a moment that mattered. The problem is, when something reaches that level, everything that comes after starts getting compared to it. Good dunks suddenly looked average, creativity had to become extreme, and the pressure to deliver something unforgettable only grew heavier. Before that night, the dunk contest allowed room for personality and simple dominance. After it, fans expected perfection. Players watching from home weren't just thinking about entering, they were thinking about how they could possibly top windmills from the free throw line, under the leg variations that looked effortless, or dunk after dunk scoring perfect marks. That kind of standard doesn't inspire participation, it can intimidate it. Instead of seeing the dunk contest as a fun showcase, many players started to view it as a stage where anything less than legendary would be criticized, and when expectations rise that high, the margin for error disappears. Even strong performances started getting labeled as mid, simply because they weren't LaVine versus Gordon. The contest became less about competing and more about chasing a moment that might never be recreated. That shift changed the energy of the entire event. Players weren't just worried about social media anymore, they were worried about being compared to what many consider one of the greatest dunk contests ever. And when the standard becomes almost impossible to reach, fewer stars feel comfortable stepping forward, leaving the NBA searching for participants instead of players chasing the spotlight themselves, which slowly turned excitement into pressure rather than inspiration. Over time, that pressure created hesitation across the league, making the dunk contest feel less like an opportunity and more like a risk many elite players simply don't want to take anymore. Stunt number 3, filling spots instead of creating moments.
When are we going to get Ant Edwards, Ja, Zion? The dunk contest needs names.
And finally, as fewer superstars volunteered for the dunk contest, the NBA found itself in a difficult position. The show still had to go on, whether the right names were in it or not. Instead of the league's most explosive players chasing the spotlight, it began to feel like the league was searching for whoever was willing to say yes and just trying to build anticipation and allure around them. And once that shift happened, the energy around the event changed completely. The dunk contest used to pick the guys fans wanted to see. Now it feels like fans are trying to figure out who certain names even are. Now it started to feel like a roster to fill of anyone that'll say yes or, I guess. You began seeing participants who weren't even known as the best dunkers on their team, let alone the league. Some weren't household names, and others didn't carry the kind of presence that made fans believe they were going to watch the next iconic moment unfold. Even the way contestants were introduced started to feel different. Like when players reacted with surprise or uncertainty about being named to the event, which only reinforces the idea that the contest wasn't being chased. Instead of elite athletes preparing months in advance to create history, it sometimes felt and feels like guys were being pulled into the spotlight without the same level of intention. The league also leaned into gimmicks and temporary fixes, from unusual judging decisions to building narratives around players who weren't regular NBA rotation stars. Someone like Mac McClung became a symbol of this era, not because he lacked talent, but because his presence highlighted how the league was trying to manufacture excitement rather than naturally attract it, signing him every year around this time only for him to be on a roster so they could justify adding him. Over time, fans could see right through it and sense that shift. The dunk contest didn't feel like a proving ground anymore, it felt like an obligation on the All-Star schedule. And when the focus moves from creating unforgettable moments to simply making sure the event happens, the meaning behind it starts to fade. All in all, the dunk contest didn't lose its impact overnight. It slowly lost the feeling of being special. What used to be a moment stars chased turned into something many avoid, and fans can feel that shift. When the names don't feel obvious and the energy feels forced, it stops feeling like must-see TV and starts to feel like just another event on the schedule. That's the risk for the NBA moving forward, because if the dunk contest keeps drifting away from what made it special in the first place, All-Star Weekend could lose the one night fans genuinely look forward to outside the game itself and maybe the playoffs during the season. And instead of excitement, the reaction becomes something much quieter. I guess. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.
He sneezed on the sleeve.
Yeah, he sneezed. He did not do the deep round.